My name is Ashley Van Gilder, and I am presenting my assignment 5 for AEP 867, where we give revisions and rationale for our teaching unit that we designed for assignment 4. In my lesson, I had my 6th grade students design posters and a Google slide presentation to give safety facts, preparations for tornadoes or hurricanes, as well as facts about how both of those natural disasters form. And then they also gave information about one of the specific types or specific natural disasters. They had Hurricane Maria, Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, Hurricane Katrina, and then the Joplin, Missouri tornado and the Greensburg, Kansas tornado. And they had to present information to the class about these. And so overall, I think it was very successful. The evidence that I had did identify understanding with the kids. Their Google Slides and posters did show appropriate evidence of this. All of the groups, whether they had tornadoes or hurricanes, did explain the formation of them, and then they also explained how to remain safe during a tornado warning and also safety tips for those affected by hurricanes. There were a few groups that it did seem were maybe a little confused or had just a base knowledge of the rating scales that they use for tornadoes and the rating scales they use for hurricanes. So I supplemented this after the lesson with some videos of meteorologists explaining these scales. These are a few of the examples of the posters that they created in our hallway. As you can see, they're very creative. They're all unique. Some show pictures of what a hurricane actually looks like. Living here in the center of the United States, we don't often see hurricanes, but we do see them in the news. Tornadoes, flying debris, everything like that as safety kit. So the tasks that they had to complete did involve complex and real-world application. With the content, I mean, we live here in Kansas. We're in Tornado Alley, so just having a basic knowledge of how to remain safe is very important. And so they were able to inform others within our school who walked down our hallway with the posters. And then they were also able to identify the severe weather and how tornadoes form. We are kind of getting to the middle of tornado season, so it's always important to talk about these things. And it also helps that we've had thunderstorms here recently, so we were able to talk a little bit more about that. And then some more real world with the presentation. It's always something that these students are going to need to do in the future. They need to know how to create a presentation and how to make sure that there's not too much on the slides. They also have to collaborate, which I know that they're going to do further when they get into their schooling and then also into the workforce. And then just effective research strategies. Kids always need to know how and where to find their information to make sure that it is valid. There were a variety of assessments used. The main one that I used was a rubric. And this assessed over multiple areas. It assessed their just understanding of the content. This is also where I left feedback for the group since they did present these. That's where I gave them their feedback on that. They did have rubrics and a project sheet, which they were encouraged to keep checking back and forth. And then the students were not given a true self-assessment or reflection. We didn't really have that in our time just because we had a limited amount of time to complete this project with all of our snow days and coming up on the end of the year and still having some units to teach. This was more rushed than I would like it to be. In the future, I do plan on having them self-reflect. A goal is to even have students critique each other's work. But as they were going through this project, they were encouraged to use the assignment sheet and the rubric. Everything on those was very laid out on what I was expecting, and to get full credit, there was a list of everything that they needed. And then with the ISTE standards, I did cover with the kids ISTE E5B, which is designing authentic learning activities that align with content area standards and the use of digital tools and resources to maximize active deep learning. I also used ISTE E6B, which is where they manage the use of technology and student learning strategies in a digital platform, visual environments, hands-on makerspace, or in the field. So with this one, I made sure that I had access to their Google Slides that they were creating, and I was constantly monitoring the room. And then ISTE S3D, which is where students curate information from digital resources using a variety of tools and methods to create collections of artifacts that demonstrate meaningful connections or conclusions. So this basically means that the students put all the information that they found online into this project.